See, what I feel is, I mean, every artist, or I would say every human being, has their own way of basically treating themselves. Forget about expressing. Pehle, what I feel is we are supposed to treat ourselves like we go to specialist doctors when we are succumb to some ailments. अगर हमारा शरीर का कुछ भाग काम नहीं कर रहा है, तो वी गो टू स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर्स. इन द सेम वे, फॉर मेंटल एलिमेंट्स एंड फॉर आवर psych, in order to treat our psych, and we need to basically search for mental peace, right? So that this is one thing which I would say is one of my kind. I would not say it is everybody's cup of tea, but it's my cup of tea. So more than expressing myself, I would love to seek some kind of peace in this particular form of art. So that's the reason I chose realism. And another reason behind choosing realism is, when I draw something, when I paint something, it's like even 6 years old kid to 60 years old lady, or people should be able to really understand what I'm drawing, or what I'm trying to express, or what I'm trying to show, what I'm trying to send a message to. If that is not being understood, then if art is very complex, and if you really don't treat in such a way that it doesn't, it's not being able to be understand, then it's kuch kaam ka nahi hai. That's what I feel. So I basically deal with all natural things.
Okay, so that's great. So in my opinion, I see like the art is a way of expressing the emotion and the ideas.
Correct.
So how do you see in your way, like this is just an emotion or the idea or the combination of emotion and the ideas?
See, the point is, whatever, if somebody sees something, for example, if I went to Europe and I've seen something which is very beautiful, it's called picturesque. So it's so beautiful, so so soothing and so serene, that I felt a lot of happiness looking at that particular area. So what I do is, I wanted to convey the same kind of peace. I wanted to transfer the same kind of or amount of peace that I gained by looking at that picturesque in Europe or Switzerland. What I do is, I paint it and I transform, or I basically transcend this particular emotion onto my canvas, and this will be basically transformed to the viewer. That means the same emotion I can't explain in my probably in linguistic mode, in a language. So I convert it into a painting. That painting will convey the same kind of happiness. So emotion and the kind of peace peace is the kind of emotion, right? So that is being conveyed properly from my end to the viewer, and the medium is a canvas, colors, whatever it is. So this is what I strongly feel. A good art is always something that the viewer should experience what the artist has experienced. For example, मुझे कुछ अच्छा नहीं लगा, so if I paint something, I want to convey the message. So the viewer whoever is looking into it, they feel like, अरे इतना बुरा लग रहा है इसको देख के, क्या हुआ? If that is happening, then they would like to give a thought about it. So that means I have sent the message rightly. The same thing I wanted to do it. So whatever I feel, whatever I have a feeling towards that particular thing, I want to convey the same feeling through my work. If that is not happening, then it's not a good piece of art.
That's true. Yes, exactly. In the creative field, it's something that whatever we are writing, whether it's a novel, whether it's a poetry, or whether it's we are drawing something in a canvas or whatever it medium may be. So the important aspect of every creative artist and the person is to convey his or message to the audience.
Correct.
If that person conveys, so we must have seen the Adi Purush movie. So the movie was not able to convey the message that's supposed to be conveyed.
Correct.
And there are movies that easily conveyed the message. So it's all about how we transform the emotion into ideas and on the picture and it's a 3D, I must say.
Yes. So when we fail, then the whole project fails.
Exactly. So it's all about the emotion and the ideas coming on the paper and the movies and on the writing.
True.
So going with this part, so is it easy to like the learn to draw something, or like it's hard to draw. Like the we haven't seen many people who could even write there's something about themselves or even draw something. So how you would feel like that? Is your like this just like the way of art?
Art is something like, see, I strongly believe in one point. If your art, if you are drawing, you know where you are. You are not very good, you are average. But if any of these levels, irrespective of any of these levels, if whatever that you are working on your paper or canvas, if it's giving you peace, mental peace, or if it is giving you satisfaction, or if it is giving you feel good, that feel good factor, if it's able to give you the feel good factor, then if even if it is really not good for some people, over a period of time your work becomes such a piece that it will transform into a feel good factor for others as well. So there is nothing like bad art or good art. If it is giving you satisfaction and happiness to you, put little more effort so that you can make it better, so that your work will become a medicine for other people. It's a therapeutic treatment for yourselves. So if you want it to be a therapeutic treatment for others, you'll have to make it better and better and better and better. So everybody can draw. The only two three ingredients is you need to have a very strong inclination towards arts. That's called passion. And you would wanted to spend some time towards it, because a lot of people in daily life, they give priority to different things, because everybody is playing their own game, everybody is fighting their own battle. With all due respect towards it, if you wanted to improve on anything, you should put little more time, invest, I would say, not spend, invest some time into it, so that you become better in that particular field. So that constant everyday practice is not a right statement, I would say. It's incomplete statement. Why? Because if you practice every day, but in a wrong way, it will not give you result. You should practice frequently, not every day, frequently in a right way. So that right way can basically, that intention will basically bring a correct guru in your life. So when you wanted to learn things in a better way, and when you have open minded for learning, then God will send you a right teacher to you, and he will guide you. So the practice in a right way is the most essential part of anybody who is struggling in any field, even if it is journalism, even if it is an arts, music, sports, whatever it is. You will have to practice, but practice in right way. This is what I have learned.
That's true, absolutely true, I must say. So going with this one, so like the if somebody consider as me, like the I'm not a good artist or I couldn't draw in a better way. I could although like the all the children's case I could do. But in case if I'm unable to do, so how as a person I could pursue the art so that I could draw my emotion, I could express my emotion in the better way.
Yeah.
Is there
So
yeah. Yes, please
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, as I said, if it is right to you, it could be wrong for some other people, for some other person. But to be able to produce a good work wherein larger chunk of people should be able to appreciate you, then you would need a right teacher and right ways and right methodology process to understand it. And for every field, there is someone who basically gone through all these things and who have crossed the ocean already. That means teacher. So who has already gone through all these problems and crossed over. So if you catch hold of that particular person, all the knowledge which we gained plus his empirical knowledge. Empirical knowledge is basically experiential knowledge. The knowledge which is learned from a book is different from the knowledge that somebody gained through his life, through experiencing his life. So when all this is consolidated and given to a student, he will become a much better student, provided the student has that flair, that fire in him to really learn things very professionally. That's more important.
Exactly. And like I guess like if you could put some efforts and like if you have some zeal and enthusiasm to learn something, easily we could pursue that thing. And the other day while like reading something, there was one person who particularly mentioned that there's somebody expert of his or her field in any field that could be. So that person in a week at least like they're doing or at least practicing for 40 hours a week. So I guess that's a dedication towards the work that is like the creating everything. Like there are numerous artists, but the see like the if I could compare you and the other person, so the way and the effort that you are putting for your work, it's tremendous and it's incremental, I must
Yeah.
say. And in other way, people are putting, but yeah, it's all about efforts and the passion, the way we are progressing, the way we are putting. And I believe we could pursue the art and
Yeah.
all, I must say.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in any field, the person who is struggling or who wants to achieve something, he should basically set up a standard for himself. That means he doesn't need to be competent with somebody else, but if he sets up a standard bar for himself, and I will attain this in 6 months or achieve this in 6 months or 1 year, that kind of ideology is always good rather than competing with somebody else, because you never know.
And the art has some connection, or is there any balance between meditation and the art, or like the painting? It could be anything in the creative way.
That's a good question, actually. Yes. So as I mentioned, art is a therapeutic treatment. A lot of people say this and agree this, admit it that yes, art is a therapeutic treatment. But why? Why is the question? So number one is when you actually try to control your pen brush in that stipulated area, to paint that stipulated area, that particular area with a color, form, or with a shape, or whatever it is. What you are trying to do is you are trying to confine your mind and eyes and hand. All these three, you are trying to build a coordination between them, and there is a muscle memory that is being developed to confine your movement, your muscle movement in that particular area, and you are working with lot of things. There are lot of senses that are being worked together in tandem, in parallelly. When that is happening, when you are trying to do that, like for example, there are two क्या बोलते हैं उसको gear wheels. Okay, the gear
हाँ जी.
wheels will move like this so that your vehicle moves forward. So it cannot move with a speed like this, it cannot move slowly like this, right? So when you are trying to move both of the wheels in tandem, it moves forward with a certain speed. In the same way, when your muscle memory, your all the muscles and senses are actually trying to you are trying to put it in the same way or same pace, then there is something called breath equilibrium in your breath. So when equilibrium in your breath, like for example, if you are watching a movie, in different scenarios your breath will be speed or low in different scenes. So in suspense, in laughter, in serious, in thrilling mode, in horror, different things. But if you do not connect your breath with your movie, you can watch movie without any emotion, without any disturbance, without any panic or whatever the emotions. You are actually disconnecting that thing, right? So when that is happening, your breath will be equilibrium. Whenever your breath is in equilibrium status, you will never experience any disease. You will never be succumb to any ill health. This is the fundamental rule of meditation, pranayama. And that happens in any of the art forms, not only painting, in any of the art forms, whichever you think is good. So this is one thing which I feel will give you lots of, I like it because I feel, it has lot of connection with the brain, hand, muscles, and eyes. That is the reason I put lot of time in painting, and that is equal to meditation for me. So it's
True.
equal to meditation. Yeah. So whenever you are practicing with brush or pen, also, I'll give my students lot of exercises which basically help them to get a command over your paper, your pencil or brush. If you are trying to build a command over the pencil or brush, automatically your breath will become stable. When your breath is stable, then you will not be falling sick. That is a fundamental rule. Even if you read Vedas, this is the statement that they gave. When you keep your emotions, when you keep your breath in a very stable condition, all the body parts will be getting equal amount of oxygen. So equal amount of oxygen is supplied to even the smallest toe of your feet. If that is happening, then you will never get succumb to any ill health.
That's true, exactly. Like the way I was like the thinking, and I was thinking ki it could be the way of like the meditation too. So because ki basically somebody like the sitting idly and doing nothing, so it could be meditation for that person.
Yes.
For someone who is like the doing something and like the totally engaged in that work, so meditation could be that thing for that person. So meditation could be in a different form in the way how we totally engage ourselves that moment. So it could be the meditation, whether we are working or whether we are doing anything, it could be.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
That's like this incredible way, like expressing the way of meditation and the art.
Yes.
So like the people will know the connection between art and the meditation. So like this, there is a one thing that I have missed in Indian, like the art and the culture. We somewhere lacking the way to express or like the design or put our ideas on the canvas. Like we have the artists like the Ravi Verma and many more person like them. So are we lacking or we are progressing in that field?
See, every era, every period has its own taste or its own changing uh, in the technical field or in the art field or in the cultural field or in the way we dress, fashion, everything keeps changing. So artists should also change accordingly, according to the scenarios, according to the surroundings, according to the age that we are in. So it's nothing wrong to change or to tweak his or her art accordingly, pieces of arts accordingly. But at the end of the day, the first and foremost way of looking at arts is to basically advertise, inspire, and motivate. So basically, advertise is advertising good things. Motivate is to get to engage people to get into involved into good things. So it's all about now that we are into advertising field. Previously, in our Renaissance age, the artists have advertised good things. They advertised moral values. They advertised
True.
good virtues. Now advertisement is being used in a very different way. It has been exploited in a very wrong way, but it's not that way. We like midnight biryani. Why do you need midnight biryani? You are spoiling your health. People should avoid. The advertisement should be avoided in such a way. It should be advertised in such a way that it builds good habits, good process, or good lifestyle. But ये midnight biryani free में भी दिए तो कई को 12 o'clock biryani is it good for any cooked food after 6:30 7 o'clock is not good. So this is what is being prescribed to human life. So our Vedas have given, our Hinduism is not a religion, it's a way of life. So the way of life, if we are trying to adapt ourselves to new things, it should not disturb our way of life. The most of the important reasons for which Indians are actually moving out of India is because of this work-life balance and standard of living, and the way we put a lot of time to our family is very, very meager and very less. That is one of the reasons people are moving out of India. So when that is being set up in India, then people will come back. Nobody would wanted to leave their motherland, right? Obviously. So looking at all these things, all these factors needs to be considered so that we change our art form and advertise good things, moral values, virtues, relations, and how are we supposed to be a good citizens? What are we contributing to the country? This is the very big things which I am talking. Smaller things is when we look at that particular artwork, we should feel very good and it should make us feel responsible. ताकि हमारे surroundings हमें clean रखना चाहिए. And you are going and doing a charity in the old age homes or anadhashram. But what are you trying to do with the people? हमारे चाचा, हमारे मामा से क्या कैसे बर्ताव कर रहे हो? How are you trying to be nice to them? How are you basically dealing with them? So that means managing relations is much more important in the family. उसके बाद आप बाहर जाके कुछ भी दान चैरिटी कुछ भी कर सकते हो. So these kind of things are very very basic things which we need to which all artists needs to do advertisement with the help of their works. Yeah. So yeah.
Like you mentioned very one particular point that I touched my mind. Like the idea of Vedas or the Hindu Dharma, or it could be the Sanatana culture.
Yeah.
I must say, as
Yeah.
Hindu, I say Sanatana Sanskriti. So there, the other day I was reading Vedas. So there, at least there is a single line where we needed to focus on the like the break all the subject, all the words, like then we could understand the Vedas and everything. So I like the really recommend people who connect. See, I say to them like at least read our culture, know our culture. You will not gonna hate it at least.
Yes.
You will not gonna like the totally engross in the Western culture. Yeah, it's good, nothing is wrong. But yeah, if we have the better thing, why not like the support and the be the part of that thing? So I genuinely believe like that we as a citizen, we as a human being supposed to be supporting our culture and the everything that we have.
True.
So going with
True.
this point, the one point that we always face, like we see what is the when you teach your student like the when you educate them and make them learn different things. So what is the difference between the Indian like the people who come to you and the people who are coming from the foreign country like the US and the other part of the Europe? So what is the basic difference between them and where they stand on the ground of art?
Yeah, so I don't see much difference. Only thing is, only the one and only thing which differentiates the Westerner mind and our mind is we try to learn each and everything small bits and pieces. C, if you take IT, we learn C, C++, C hash, Java, .NET, Excel, Windows, Mac, Linux, you name we will know. But they are not like that. If they are learning Excel, they learn Excel in deep. And if you ask him, for example, Microsoft Office, whatever someone is very good at Microsoft Office, he is not good at something else. So he'll say that I am not good at it. You can go to that particular person, he will tell you. So that means if somebody says, I am good in something, they believe in it. And they make sure that they learn into the deeper layers of that particular subject. So they become expert. But हमारे यहाँ जिसको भी देखो, everything he learns everything. He touches everything, bits and pieces. And if there is anything that is being touched in a deeper layers, then he'll say, no, I don't know this. But that here also in arts, when it comes to arts, lot of people learn watercolors, oil, acrylic, graphite, charcoal. But yeah, it is not wrong. But what I wanted to say is when you are learning something deep, then you become an expert. Your expertise should help the other people or your children, the next generation. So if you are learning bits and pieces, आपका तजुर्बा क्या काम का? This is what I have the question in my mind. That's the reason I always advise my students to go and have a command over one medium. Once you get a command over one medium, you can experiment with other mediums, and this command over one medium will actually help you to learn the other mediums very easily. Yeah. So basically consistency and putting your effort in one area focused will give you results for sure.
Exactly, like the food the strength of it could for any people, whosoever it might be. Like at least be the master of one field, then after it getting the mastery or at least be good at that thing. Or I'm not saying that we are not saying that great, but at least good. So that somebody who needed it, he could fulfill their needs and the demands. But after being a good or it could be great too, then that person could go to the other area of the art. So it could be any field. Like if somebody is aerospace engineer, don't rush to the mechanical and all. Yeah. At least be good at aerospace, then go to mechanical, then go to anything. Same like the
Yeah.
I have seen people like the who are pursuing everything at a time. There
Yeah.
are people I know like they are learning Python, C++, Java, and even I don't know those many languages, but they are learning. I see at least be the master of one field, then go with the
Correct.
other field.
Correct.
E- Exactly. So how was your experience with the foreign client that you work for the pencil company that you mentioned other day?
You mean to say foreign clients in the art field?
Yeah, exactly. The pencil company that we have discussed earlier.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. They're very much impressed with the way I have a profound knowledge in graphite and charcoal, because if you ask me about, because charcoal and graphite doesn't well with each other. If you ask me, I'll talk for about 1 2 hours about it. So that means easily talking about one simple point for more than 1.5 2 hours is something which tells you how much profound knowledge one has got. So that means they were very happy looking at or listening to my details. So that's the reason they would wanted to basically recommend a couple of their what do you call it, quality of the graphite or quality of the wood that they are working on. So I discussed with them, and they were very happy to seek the inputs from someone who knows, because they manufacture it. They manufacture, and the chemistry between those elements they could understand. But when it comes to artist, because artist is the one who uses it for lifetime, right? So we are the right people who can give a right direction towards the thought process or making process of that particular engineers. So I was able to give my 2 cents to them, and they were very happy to receive it.
It's so nice to hear it. So one thing like they mentioned charcoal and the graphite. So a few like the description like the what is basically charcoal painting and the like the paint the other graphite painting. So how it could be easily described by you.
Basically, graphite is something wherever you go in any of the shops, if you ask pencil, they'll give you HB pencil. HB pencil is a very
Yeah.
unique pencil which is manufactured in larger quantity, and that helps us to use the graphite very easily. So graphite can be whenever you draw something, even small kids use graphite, but not charcoal. Why? Because erasing graphite is easier than charcoal, because charcoal gives you very fine lines. It can be erased, it can get into the deeper layers of paper, but charcoal when gets into the deeper layers of paper, it cannot be erased. It's almost impossible to erase. That's the reason, to gain good command over the pencil, like pen, a pencil लिखोगे तो it will be very difficult for you to erase. That's the reason you don't use pen for the drawings. In the same way, when you are using charcoal, it's like you are applying the charcoal. Graphite, you are actually trying to create friction between the paper and pencil, but charcoal you are applying on the paper. So application will actually change the chemistry of the tissues of the paper. So in order to avoid the spoiling of the paper, you need to basically deal with charcoal very carefully. And how much ever darker graphite you take, it is only gray, not black. Charcoal is black. So grayscale, graphite gives you grayscale. Charcoal will give you degrees of black. Lot of people think when they draw with pencil on paper it is black and white. No, it is gray and white for graphite. It is black and white for charcoal. So when you draw with graphite, because it's a wax-based pencil, you cannot see the drawing in all the angles. From all the angles, it's not visible clearly. There is a light reflection. But in charcoal, out of 180 degrees, 178 degrees, you can see the drawing clearly from any angle. But graphite, it's not like that. That is the reason professionals use charcoals. If they really wanted to give a very impactful, effective drawing, so they will definitely use graphite and charcoal mix. And graphite and charcoal mixing is a very big chemical process that needs to be understood before you put down mix of graphite and charcoal properly.